don't know about you guys, wherever you live in America or other countries. I know I have some viewers from other countries, but we've been getting a lot of rain, and I do mean a lot of rain lately. The ground is so saturated, and the sad thing is I need to mow my lawn because of all this rain that we've been getting. The lawn, the grass has just been growing like crazy, and I need to mow the lawn, but obviously can't do it because every 10 minutes it starts raining. I mean, it's just been horrible rain, and you can see, I don't know if you can see, maybe you can, but it's so cloudy. There's so much overcast, and you can see from the windshield it was raining. It stopped. It's on and off showers. Pretty much it's been this way, oh, well, I mean, since Saturday. Actually Friday. Last Friday. Here is Tuesday. But yeah, it's been, I mean, you know, they say about spring showers and so on, and that's fine, but we've just been getting a whole lot of rain, and some areas are flooded. The ground isn't able to take in that much water. Wow, yeah, some crazy rain lately. It's just been like this, I think, for the past 5 days. We haven't got any of the serious storms up here in Michigan that people were getting down south. Some more serious stuff going on down south. You know, and I consider myself fortunate here in Michigan. My only experience with any real severe weather was when I was 8 years old, and when we lived out in the country. I was 8 years old. We lived out in the country, and I remember a big storm rolled through. And it was a tornado-producing storm. There was a lot of tornadoes, as a matter of fact. And there was a tornado that came down, and I saw it with my own eyes. And it was frightening because it happened. Fortunately, we lived on a little plot of land. It was like a half an acre. But behind us, there was, it was 85 acres behind us. There was nobody behind us for 85 acres. And then it was a tree line. And you know, being out in the country, we didn't hear the tornado siren, but my dad had one of those NOAA radios, those emergency radios. And we knew that the storm was coming because we watched TV. You know, back then there were no cell phones or anything. So we were watching the TV, and the local station was reporting on the storm, telling people, you know, we've got sightings here, this is our radar. And radar wasn't as sophisticated back then, but here's the radar, this is what it's telling us. And the storms, I hate roundabouts. The storms were just all over the place. The tornadoes were, touchdown sightings were everywhere, and it was less radar than it was less of a radar thing for tornadoes than it was spotters. People would spot, they'd call into the station, say they sightings or whatever. You know, now we can see more formation with tornadoes. It's not perfect, but it's better than what it was. I suppose it should slow down. School zone. I remember they called that there was a tornado spotted in our area. It was moving in whatever direction. And that was when my dad said, okay, it's time. We need to go to the crawl space, which we had I believe it was 3-foot crawl space or 4 feet. I don't know what it was. So we went down in the crawl space, but there were 4 windows in the crawl space. And I remember sitting in the basement, and of course, you know, my dad was out the window. He was looking out the window to see if he could see anything, and I could see, we could all see off into the field, we could see a tornado rolling across the field. And you hear it, your ears, I mean, even as far away as it was probably, I don't know, I'd say maybe, I don't know, I'd say 1,000 feet maybe 1,500 feet behind us. And you feel it in the air. You hear it, your ears become all pressurized. The window was shaking. My mom was yelling at my dad to get away from the window. And the house was shaking. And this thing was quite a ways away. It wasn't like it was right there in front of us so we could throw a rock and hit it. And I remember thinking to myself at the time, I'm gonna die. And as a kid, you don't understand death all that well, but you also don't understand perspective. And my perspective at the time was the tornado was next to the house, and it was going to suck our house up, because, you know, everybody's seen Wizard of Oz, and the house that gets sucked up in the Wizard of Oz. So I kept picturing in my head the house just going up, you know, whatever. And so that you know, freaked me out, and I was crying. My sister was crying, but it ended up passing through. Fortunately, most of the damage was trees and so on, but it touched down real close to that field, and fortunately it dissipated before it was able to do much damage. You know, that was just one of those lucky days for us. Closest I'd ever been to an actual tornado. Now, I've seen tornadoes since then, way off into the distance. I've seen them, but never been that close to one like it was that day. And it was pretty frightening, to say the least. I don't care if it's no turn red. Alright. I am looking for the post office. It's so stupid. We're right on the line of the township, or the city actually, and we have a post office that is literally a 1-minute drive from where we live, but I have to drive all the way down to this post office, which I think I just passed. Or not, maybe it's right here with the flags. Yep, yeah, so I didn't pass it. So anyway, this post office is much further than the one that's right down the street from us, but it's a different city, so different zip code, which of course automatically means that you have to go to the zip code. Man. Parking sucks here. The post office is just about as bad as the Secretary of State. With all these cutbacks, understandably why. All these cutbacks, though, there were probably, I don't know, maybe 8 people waiting, and there were 2 clerks. You know, it's Tuesday, I understand that, but you had one of those clerks was tied up getting some money order or passport or something. So you had one clerk who was taking new packages, mail, stamps, etc. So, yeah. I mean, that's fine, but it's just it's not as easy as it used to be. I remember going into the post office as a kid, and there might be one person waiting, and there were 3 clerks standing there waiting to wait on somebody. And there was only one time I remember that it got busy, and a 4th person, whoever was that 4th person, came out and helped. But again, whatever. Go to the Secretary of State. Fortunately, I didn't have to. I do have to get a new plate though. But fortunately, I didn't have to go down to the Secretary of State to renew my tabs or license. Actually, my driver's license too needed to be renewed. And I won't get into that, why it's so expensive, bull crap that happens. But anyways, I can't stand going down to the Secretary of State. I don't know if it's Secretary of State in your state. Some people call it the DMV. Whatever it is for you, for us it's the Secretary of State for Michigan. And I tell you what, they've cut back so much on funding for the Secretary of State. It is a joke anymore. And fortunately, we live in a hub where the one Secretary of State that we have in our area, which is East Lansing, is pretty sizable. And they have at least probably a good 8 to 10 clerks working on any given day, so it's not as bad. But I've even that, I've walked into the SOS and I've looked up at the number and it'll say like 20, and I looked down at my number and it'd be like 85. Now granted, a lot of times people don't wait, I guess. Some of them will see the number, pull the number, and then walk away. So you'll hear them say 20, 21, 22. I mean, it'll go that fast because people don't want to stand and wait. They need to have a better, I know it works, and it's not that much of a problem really for them to have to skip through numbers. But they need to have a better way of doing some of the stuff that they do. Burn up all my gas before tomorrow. We live in the digital age. Looks like my gas cap ended up triggering my check engine, SES, whatever you want to call it. TDC, DDC, there's all sorts of different names for it, but anyways. I would much rather myself, and this is just me personally, okay, this is my own opinion, as a driver in the state of Michigan, having this car registered in my name, I would much rather, instead of having to come up with $130 to register this car every year on my birthday or earlier, I would much rather pay a monthly fee, have it deducted out of my checking account or whatever every single month, and then be covered for the whole year. And then every year, as long as you've been paying or you're paid up, they will send you your new tabs. And even then, I don't even think tabs should be a requirement anymore. I think it's ridiculous that every year they print out a colored sticker that shows the month and the year of the expiration, because these days everything's electronic, and a cop will pull up All they have to do is run your plate, and they know right then. And somebody please educate me. What is the importance of having that tab on there outside of law enforcement? What is the importance? All you're doing is looking at other people's tabs and saying, oh, they're expired or whatever. And I just think it's a waste of money. Having to print that sticker and sending it, I just think it's a joke myself, personally. That's just my opinion. And I would much rather pay monthly to be able to drive my car, because I got to pay yearly anyway. I'd much rather it be one monthly fee divided up by 12. So you're looking at a little over $10 a month basically, and just keep on paying that rather than have to come up with the cash. And that can be adjusted, like if you get a new car or you sell your car, you let them know right away. Things like that. Why can't it be a regular bill you have to pay every year? Why can't they split it up? But I don't know if some states do that or not. Maybe they do. I think Michigan should do something like that. That way I never have to run down to the Secretary of State at the last second or whatever and get plates, or renew it online at the last second or whatever. Anyways,